Hey everyone, welcome back. We're doing a deep dive today into versus AI.
Oh yeah, versus AI.
You might have heard of them. They just beat DeepSeek in the Mastermind challenge, and
That was pretty impressive.
it was really impressive. And it's got everybody talking about them because they're not doing what all the big companies are doing with LLMs.
Yeah, what was really interesting about that win was it wasn't just an algorithm win. It was actually like a complete different approach.
Right. And that's what has people excited. So let's talk about that different approach. What is it about versus AI that has people taking notice, especially when you compare them to these big names pouring billions into the LLM model?
Well, you can think about it this way. LLMs are like super powerful calculators for language, right?
Right.
They can churn through text, they can generate content, they can translate languages, they can even write code, but they kind of operate in a digital vacuum.
Hmm.
They don't have any real understanding of the physical world, the spaces that we live and move in.
So if LLMs are like the brains of AI, what is LLM versus AI bringing to the table?
Well, I think in a way they're building the sensory system.
Okay.
So they're using something called spatial web protocols.
Okay.
And these protocols allow AI to kind of understand and interact with the world in a way that's much closer to how humans do. It's like giving AI the ability to see and navigate the world around it, not just process words on a screen.
That makes a lot of sense. And, I know you've been digging into K Invest's Big Ideas 2025 report, and they talk a lot about the convergence of different technologies. Where does versus AI fit into this larger landscape of innovation?
Well, ARK Invest, they paint this picture of a future where AI is really intertwined with all these other groundbreaking technologies like robotics and autonomous vehicles and even, things like the metaverse.
Right.
And what's interesting is that versus AI, with its focus on spatial understanding, could be like a key piece of the puzzle,
Yeah.
right? They're essentially building the foundation for AI to operate in this world that's increasingly, blending the physical and the digital.
So I was looking at versus AI's valuation. It's pretty modest, actually, compared to some of the astronomical figures we're seeing for companies focused on LLMs. Does that seem strange to you given their potential?
Yeah, it does make you wonder.
Yeah.
And it might be a sign that, the market hasn't fully grasped the long-term implications of what versus AI is doing. It's a bit like the early days of the internet,
Uh-huh.
when very few people understood the significance of something seemingly simple called TCP/IP.
Right.
It wasn't flashy or exciting, but it was the underlying protocol that enabled the entire internet to function as we know it.
The unsung hero of the digital age.
Exactly. And I think versus AI could be playing a similar role in the evolution of AI. They're not just building another application, they're creating the underlying architecture for a future where AI is, seamlessly integrated into our physical reality.
So they're not just playing the game, they're rewriting the rules.
Yes, yeah.
I like that. Now, for our listeners out there, what does this all mean? Why should they care about versus AI and this whole idea of a spatially aware AI?
Well, think about the way we interact with technology today. It's largely confined to screens and devices, right? But imagine a world where AI understands your physical environment as well as you do, where it can anticipate your needs and seamlessly connect the digital and physical worlds. That's the kind of future that versus AI is building towards.
Okay, I'm definitely intrigued.
Yeah.
But how does this actually play out in the real world? What are some concrete examples of how this spatial approach to AI could change things?
Well, let's imagine, for instance, the world of logistics and supply chains.
Okay, logistics and supply chains, not usually where I go when I think cutting edge AI.
Yeah, I know it doesn't sound super glamorous,
Right.
but it's actually where this stuff could have a huge impact. I mean, think about it right now. Supply chains are these incredibly complex systems, and even small disruptions can have these huge ripple effects. I mean, think about what we've seen in recent years with, you know, global pandemics and geopolitical instability.
Yeah, those disruptions have been front page news for sure.
Exactly. And that's where this spatial aspect of AI comes in.
Okay.
Because imagine a world where AI can actually track goods, not just, in a spreadsheet,
Uh-huh.
but with a three-dimensional understanding of their location and movement in real time.
So instead of just knowing that a shipment left point A and is headed to point B, we can actually see its progress, its exact location, and any potential obstacles in its path.
Exactly, yeah. And it's not just about visibility.
Okay.
A spatially aware AI could actually analyze the entire supply chain,
Oh, wow.
identify potential bottlenecks, vulnerabilities,
Uh-huh.
and even come up with alternative routes or solutions on the fly.
That sounds like it could prevent a lot of headaches and probably save a ton of money.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it goes beyond just efficiency, too. Think
Yeah.
about sustainability. A more optimized supply chain means less waste, fewer delays, ultimately a smaller environmental footprint.
Now that you mentioned it, ARK's report also talked about the role of AI agents in this whole spatial computing revolution. And I got to admit, the idea of having AI agents running around doing our bidding is a little, I don't know, unnerving.
I get it. It
Yeah.
sounds very sci-fi.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to think critically about the implications.
Yeah.
But if we strip away the Hollywood hype,
Right.
AI agents essentially represent a new level of automation and personalization.
Okay.
Imagine having an AI agent that understands not just your preferences, but also your physical environment.
So not just suggesting what I should buy online, but also knowing which stores nearby have it in stock, factoring in things like traffic and opening hours.
Exactly, and it could go even further.
Okay.
Imagine an AI agent that helps you manage your home, optimizing energy usage based on your habits, the weather,
Right.
or even coordinating with other AI agents to handle more complex tasks.
Okay, now that you put it that way, it starts to sound less like a dystopian nightmare and more like a superpowered personal assistant.
Well, that's a much better way to think about it.
Yeah.
And it's important to remember these AI agents would be operating within the framework that it kills, versus AI is creating a framework that prioritizes security, privacy, and interoperability.
Now, I'm curious, with all the hype around LLMs, are they just going to fade away? Is there a place for them in this spatially aware future that versus AI is building?
I don't think it's an either situation.
All right.
I think it's more like, different tools for different jobs.
Okay.
LLMs are fantastic for tasks that involve, language processing,
Yeah.
generating content, or even helping us understand complex data sets. But when it comes to interacting with the physical world, that's where the spatial approach of versus AI really shines.
So it's not about one technology replacing the other, but rather about finding ways for them to work together.
Exactly.
Okay.
Think of it like this. LLMs can provide the brain power for AI, while AI provides the senses and the ability to act in the real world. Together, they could create a much more powerful and versatile form of artificial intelligence.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, stepping back a bit, I'm wondering about the bigger picture. All this talk about AI, spatial computing, and a future where, the digital and physical worlds are blending. It can feel a bit overwhelming, even a bit scary at times. What do you think are some of the most important things for people to keep in mind as we navigate this kind of uncharted territory?
That's a really important question.
Yeah.
I think it's crucial to approach all of this with a healthy dose of both excitement and caution. It's easy to get caught up in the hype,
Uh-huh.
but it's equally important to think critically about, the potential challenges and unintended consequences.
Right.
We need to have, open and honest conversations about the ethical implications of AI,
Yeah.
about data privacy, about the potential impact on jobs and the economy.
It sounds like a lot to grapple with.
It is.
Yeah.
But I also think it's an incredible opportunity.
Okay.
We're at a point where we can actually shape the future of AI
Right.
to ensure that it's used for good, that it benefits all of humanity, not just a select few. And I think companies like Versus AI, with their commitment to building, a more ethical and equitable AI ecosystem, are really leading the way.
Well, I don't know about you, but this conversation has definitely given me a lot to think about. It feels like we're on the cusp of something truly transformative. But where do we go from here? What are the next steps in this spatial computing revolution?
That's the question that's still being answered as we speak.
Yeah.
But one thing's clear. The momentum is building. We're seeing more and more companies and researchers exploring the potential of spatial computing, and the investment in this field is only going to increase.
So if someone's listening to this and thinking, wow, this sounds fascinating, I want to learn more, where should they start? What are some resources or areas they could explore?
Well, I definitely recommend checking out ARK Invest's Big Ideas report. It provides a really great overview of these converging technologies that are shaping the future.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it's worth diving deeper into Versus AI and their work on the spatial web. They have a website, a blog, where they share a lot of insightful information.
Great suggestions. And I think it's important to remember that this is a rapidly evolving field.
Yeah.
What's cutting edge today might be commonplace tomorrow.
Exactly.
So staying curious, staying informed, and engaging in these conversations is going to be key.
I couldn't agree more.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this part of our deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground, from supply chains and AI agents to the broader implications of spatial computing and the importance of ethical considerations.
It's been a fascinating conversation,
We really have.
and I'm really excited to see where this all leads in the coming years.
Me too.
Yeah.
Now, before we go, I have to ask, what's one thing that you think people should really take away from all of this? What's the key message you want to leave our listeners with?
I think the most important thing to remember is that AI is not just about computers becoming smarter. It's about finding new ways for humans and machines to collaborate, to augment each other's strengths, and to create a future that's more intelligent, more sustainable, and ultimately more human.
Beautifully said, and I think that's a perfect note to end on.
And, building on that idea of collaboration, one area where I think we'll see some really exciting developments is in scientific discovery.
Oh, now you've got my attention.
Yeah.
I'm always fascinated by the intersection of AI and scientific breakthroughs. What kind of possibilities are we talking about here?
Well, think about some of the biggest challenges facing science today.
The-
Things like understanding the intricacies of the human brain,
What?
or modeling complex climate systems, or designing new materials with very specific properties.
Yeah.
These are problems that involve massive amounts of data, complex interactions, and often require a way of visualizing things that goes beyond, traditional charts and graphs.
So how does spatial computing fit into all this?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Imagine being able to create a digital twin of a human brain, for example.
Okay.
Not just a static image, but a dynamic, interactive model that you can actually explore and manipulate in 3D.
So instead of just looking at brain scans, researchers could actually walk through the neural pathways, zoom in on specific areas, and see how different parts of the brain interact in real time.
Exactly. And with AI powering that digital twin,
Right.
you could run simulations, test different hypotheses,
Wow.
and gain a much deeper understanding of how the brain works. It's like giving scientists a whole new set of tools to explore the most complex systems in the universe.
Wow, that's pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And I imagine this could apply to all sorts of scientific fields, not just neuroscience.
Absolutely. Think about climate modeling.
Okay.
With spatial computing, we could create these detailed interactive models of the Earth's climate system.
Right.
We could visualize how different factors like greenhouse gas emissions or deforestation impact weather patterns, ocean currents, global temperatures.
That could be a game changer in terms of understanding and addressing climate change.
I think so, and it's not just about understanding existing systems.
Right.
Spatial computing could also revolutionize the way we design and discover new things.
Okay.
Imagine using AI to design new materials and drugs, even entirely new forms of energy, all within a virtual spatial environment.
So instead of relying on trial and error in a physical lab, scientists could test countless possibilities in a virtual world, speeding up the process of discovery and innovation.
Exactly. It's like taking the scientific method and supercharging it
Right.
with the power of AI and spatial computing.
This all ties back to something you said earlier about collaboration. It sounds like spatial computing isn't just about making AI smarter. It's about creating new ways for humans and machines to work together to amplify each other's strengths.
Yeah, I think that's a really crucial point.
Yeah.
We often hear about AI as this potential threat, this thing that's going to replace human jobs and maybe even outsmart us altogether. But I think the real potential of AI lies in collaboration,
Okay.
in finding ways for humans and machines to complement each other.
So instead of fearing AI, we should be thinking about how to partner with it, how to harness its power to solve the biggest challenges facing humanity.
Exactly. And that's why I find this whole spatial computing movement so exciting.
Yeah.
It's not just about creating cool new technologies. It's about reimagining the relationship between humans and machines.
Right.
About building a future where AI is a tool for empowerment and progress.
Well said. And I think that's a perfect note to end on. We've covered a lot of ground today, from Vesta's AI's surprising win to the mind-bending potential of spatial computing. It's clear that we're standing at the edge of something truly transformative.
It's an exciting time to be alive, that's for sure.
It really is. So to our listener out there, we hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity and given you a glimpse into the future that's taking shape all around us. We encourage you to keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep imagining the possibilities. Who knows? Maybe you'll be the one to unlock the next breakthrough in this incredible journey of discovery. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, keep diving deep.